Hello, and welcome to Father Time, formerly Father and Son. I'm your host, Evan, and today I have a guest. He is one of my oldest and bestest buds. He does not wield a bow and arrow, nor is he a cartoon character on an FX spy comedy series, but he is still referred to as Archer. Archer, say hi.
Hello. As a matter of fact, I am offended because I used to wield a bow and arrow.
Okay, well...
I trained in middle school, I'll have you know.
Okay. Well, what'd you think of that intro, though?
That was pretty good. I see you've been working on it.
Definitely did not.
Spoke.
Definitely was not rehearsing that the last 2 hours.
Well, do you have your closing ready?
I don't have a closing, no.
Well, okay.
I'm pretty weak with closings.
Half marks, you failed.
Oh, all right.
Anyways,
Archer, first question.
Yes.
A second opium war, do you support it, yes or no?
There was a second one.
Oh, crap. Shows you how much research I've done. How many were there?
There were two.
A third opium war, do you support it, yes or no?
I don't.
Why not?
I mean, it was hilarious then, but, I mean...
Really then? You think it was hilarious?
Well, no, but...
People died, Archer.
Well, yes, people always
There were
die.
2 wars and people died,
I know, and
you're laughing.
Yeah, kind of. No, but I mean, you know, the consequences are still ongoing, and I'd prefer we not do that again. And also, like, I imagine Britain invading China right now.
Okay, fair.
Not great.
But it would be funny. It'd be a good meme.
Oh, so now you're laughing.
Now I'm the one laughing.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's move on from this. Archer, what's up?
Well, so my body aches more than usual because I've started running again. We've talked about this.
Right, yeah.
So, I hit a mile, or, well, not a mile mark.
You hit the mile?
I hit a 5-mile mark, in fact, which was my goal. That's what I meant to say. So, this past, I want to say, yeah, it was Sunday. I ran 5 miles under an hour.
Okay.
You know, pretty good.
Yeah.
But what wasn't so great was that I dropped my keys.
Oh, yes, I saw this on your story. Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of dropped my keys en route, and I didn't notice until I made it all the way back home. So that meant that I left my keys somewhere on a 5-mile route.
Yeah.
So I had to walk that back at like 8 p.m. My hands, my body, my legs, it was all frozen. Like, because my parents are checking in on me occasionally.
Right.
Like, my thumbs have never moved so slowly. Like, I had my phone in my hand, and I was just like crawling to just...
Yeah.
And like, I started talking different too and stuff. Like, you know, I'm usually pretty verbose, right? I was just typing out, okay. Or on the way, so on and so on.
So how far along the route did you have to go to find the keys again?
So you also know this. But, so when I left home to go back along the route, I turned left. That led me to take the entire route back because my keys were 2 blocks away if I had turned right. So...
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So I'm still bruised, battered, but recovering.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then I had that final today, which wasn't great, but anyways. How are you doing?
Well, I'm not as tired as you must be. Actually, I had a good, what was it, probably about 20 minutes ago. Adam came home with a free cheeseburger for me, so actually...
Where from?
I'm in a good mood now. I have no idea.
Oh.
It was for his game. It was supposed to be like his meal beforehand.
Oh.
But then it got canceled. It's far from the best burger I've ever had.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And there was no markings on the bag, like...
That's kind of suspicious.
It was a ghetto burger.
Yeah,
I don't know.
well, I mean, those can be good.
It was not bad.
Not bad, that's...
It was good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So, anyway, that time you bumped into a curb.
Wow, okay.
I'm sorry.
Not even 4 minutes in, you're coming after me like that?
Here's the thing.
Yes, I
As
know
you
it's
know,
weird.
because you're one of the only ones who listen to the FNS podcast.
Well.
As you know, Jarrett and I have mentioned you several times, and we've never like gone into any stories that were like that really heavily involved you. So I've been waiting to get you onto this podcast to just talk about literally everything we've ever done.
So you have more material planned than I do.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but like, kind of.
Yeah, so I hit a curb. What do you want?
I just thought it'd be funny to talk about and to relive.
Well, I mean, Where we were going to get ice cream,
Ice
right?
cream.
Milkshake at
The
Andy's?
Well, no, because I think we settled on Marble Slab
because it was
because,
closer.
but that's the thing. It wasn't closer. I think
Oh,
some of
yeah.
us,
No, it
somebody
wasn't, yeah.
decided that it was when it wasn't, and we drove right past Andy's and kept going for another couple miles.
That's great.
Regardless,
Yes, regardless.
the reason I think it's a funny story is because, as you know, if you're my friend, I'm the taxi. So since the beginning of time, when I got the driver's license first. So when we get together, anybody, I'm the one who picks everybody up. And this is the first time that you drove not just one or two people, but the
whole
entire gang.
Was Wong there?
I think it was
know
me,
Nick was.
you, Polish, Nick, and Wong. Jer actually wasn't there for this
Ah, I
one.
knew one of them were missing. Okay.
But
yes, first
but
time driving.
most
at
of the gang, all piled into your little Jeep, and it just went so wrong so quickly.
It was going fine for a bit, and by that I mean until we got onto 380.
Right.
Because, I mean, we all kind of hate 380, and for good reason, I think.
Yeah, well, everybody.
And this particular stretch of 380, there's no lights. It's just pitch black. And if you know my Jeep, you know that it has very dim lights. So I'm kind of dependent upon roads that have good lighting to compensate. However, 380 did not. So, we had to make a turn somewhere, and I started to turn a little bit too early. And I hit a curb that I could not see.
Yeah, because it was the left.
We were taking a left turn.
Yeah.
And there was one of those weird, not a stoplight, but just another turn in where you have to go in the midway. And right after that was another curb right before the actual turn that I need to make. So, I hit it. Yeah.
And the tire just blew the frick out.
The tire just disintegrated.
Yeah, it really did.
I didn't see any pieces of that tire, just the rim left.
And I also I want to apologize to you now because I'm pretty sure I just immediately started laughing.
I mean, it was funny.
Which some of it was from relief that we didn't die because it was a disturbing noise. But
give me credit though, I steered us to safety pretty well.
No, you did absolutely. And what was more important was you landed us in the far left lane.
Yes,
because there's two left turn lanes there. So you didn't get us stuck in the middle of traffic.
Yeah. So give me credit where credit's due. I can handle a crisis.
Absolutely.
But I can't avoid a curb.
Well, and then also you did all the tire stuff yourself.
No.
Well,
that was mainly Nick and Wong.
Oh, I thought you were kind of in charge in that department.
I was getting information about just more or less what was wrong, what do I need to do, who do I need to contact.
So have Wong and Nick done that before, or did they just know how to do it?
And I'm not too sure about Wong, but I know that Nick, he has a really old beat up truck that he loves.
Yeah.
Right? And so he does a lot of care for that, so he's pretty handy with that sort of thing.
Well, because I know nothing about it.
And same.
And so I kind of just stood there.
Well, you stood
Polish.
there helpfully with Polish, over down the curb, right?
Well,
Just
that's true.
waving
I
down
forget.
people,
Yeah,
right?
we were waving people away. Well, at least supposedly we were. Most of us, most of the time, we were trying to find the tracks left by your tire because we wanted to take a picture of it. But then when we found it, we couldn't take a picture of it because again, the same problem that got us into the mess. There was no freaking light over there.
It's impossible to see. I hate 380.
380 needs some lamps.
Yeah. Although, so to be fair though, you're the taxi here. Although for my friends in College Station, I'm definitely the taxi. So I'm
I'm passing down the legacy,
well.
Archer.
Yeah, I'm learning well. I'm inheriting the business and opening shop in College Station.
Yeah.
It's I do pretty good.
Man, EvCo does so much. We do videos. We do a podcast. We have a taxi service.
Books.
Yeah,
Are those EvCo?
I count them as EvCo.
I mean,
might as
EvCo
well.
is you, so
yeah. I'm a one man company, so
I am EvCo.
I am EvCo. Speaking of which, there are new EvCo videos out. I don't think I've announced that on the podcast yet. So if for some reason you listen to the podcast but don't watch my videos, which I feel like surely it's the other way around. Surely nobody.
A person.
I guess maybe. If that's the case, go watch the new videos, and there's going to be more soon. And including the one we're probably going to do next is the first video to actually have a budget. Because as Archer knows, because he was there with me, we had to actually buy a prop for this video.
Did we have to buy it?
Yes.
Okay.
Trust me. Because the thing is, and if this isn't totally blatantly obvious, which I'm sure it is, all the other videos, we have props, but it's whatever's lying around your house. Like, we make stuff up
And fortunately,
on the
my
fly.
house has a pretty good selection.
No, absolutely, it does, and I'm glad that
we need to start
worked
utilizing that corner that I have where it's like the didgeridoo, the spears, the swords, the R2D2.
Well, I know, and the thing is like I feel like as through maybe not through winter break because we don't have quite as much time, but especially during this summer, as we're probably going to start wanting to like try new things with our videos and kind of up the ante a little bit, we'll probably start doing stuff like that. My concern is that we're going to be too lazy to try to work out choreography, and Polish is going to kill us.
Yeah, no.
when he's
I think
wielding
this was
that
just
spear.
His plan all along to murder us all.
Probably is. Yeah.
So outside of the did you finish explaining the mask?
Well, I wasn't gonna like reveal everything.
Okay.
I mean, I guess people
It's up
who've
to
seen
you.
my Instagram, I've posted a picture
Which,
of it.
to be fair, the
but-
Venn diagram for people who watch your Instagram and watch your videos is a circle.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like, there's more people who see my Instagram posts than watch my videos or listen to this podcast.
Ergo.
There's more people, I think, who watch the videos than listen to the podcast.
Yep.
And
then there's the
like
podcast.
5 people who listen to the podcast.
And then there's the books.
We don't need to go into that. It's unnecessary.
Sorry.
It's not my fault, Archer.
No, I know, but
One of my creative hobbies is just something that people don't like
listen.
to do. People don't like to read.
Listen, 5 minutes in, you attack me after the driving.
Okay, that's fair.
10 minutes in, I attack you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But that was like, did you listen to the writing podcast that Jared and I did? Do
I
you
think
remember?
that was during midterms.
Okay.
So no.
The audio was kind of bad on that one.
That one?
But that was the first time, and you and I have already had this conversation to a degree, but that was kind of the first time where I was like, you know what? As I'm talking about it here, and as I'm thinking about writing and the journey I've gone on so far, I'm just like, it's not that the creative reception puts me down, and it's not that I don't still enjoy doing it, but as I've told you, the videos and even this podcast, just more like immediate ways of being creative.
It's more organic, maybe.
I guess so, but whatever you want to call it, that's becoming a bigger appeal to me, and writing's kind of taking a back seat for the moment. So
Yeah, for the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe it comes and goes like seasons.
Maybe it will, but
I mean, that's totally fair.
and what are like so I mean people who follow my Instagram, a lot of them probably follow yours, but like, do you want to talk about any of your creative endeavors at all?
If I had any at the moment.
Well, I mean, I thought you might like.
Well, I mean,
maybe you haven't done them in the last couple months because of college, but like you do stuff.
yeah.
Like,
So I mean, that isn't to say I have projects in the works. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, well, this was actually something I was going to ask later. It ties in well enough, but I was making that table. I've made that table.
Yeah.
Although there's still work to be done because I've made the main desk component. Now I have to make a thing that houses my computer. But it is functional as a desk, and I'm pretty sure you saw it last time.
No, I did. It looked like a solid desk to me.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. No, but yeah, so that's been my big thing for the past 3 years. But
Really, that long?
yeah, I started that in, I want to say 10th, or I think the summer of 11th grade.
Huh. Wow, I
So,
was not aware of that.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I'm really proud of that thing.
Yeah.
And like, because my dad, he also does a fair bit of furniture work. Like, the bookcases that we have, he made those. The big table that we have, all of them, he made all those.
Yeah.
So he knows furniture pretty well, and he was my mentor through all of this, and he was like, even he was kind of overwhelmed with like the stuff I was trying to do with that desk.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a very technically challenging thing, even for him. So even much more for me as somebody who hasn't done woodwork before. So I like to use that as part of the excuse for why it took so long. But now that it is mostly done, I'm very happy with it.
Okay, cool. And so, like, everything you've done so far, is that just from scratch?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the big thing for this table too, was that I wanted, everything to be from scratch. And I think that that's true for most of my creative endeavors, is that I appreciate when I can start from scratch.
Yeah, sure, that's fair.
So
you know who else? Charlie has actually built. They have the fellows have in their backyard some kind of, I guess you'd call it a picnic table.
Oh, okay.
That he built, I think, from scratch as well.
Dang.
So
I'll have to ring him up.
I don't know. There's something. There's something about like you just start striking out on your own and becoming your own person. You're like, man, I just want to build something.
No, honestly, yeah. I mean, well, to be fair, not to brag or anything, but my parents gave me Legos as a kid.
Hey. Yeah, same. Like,
as a Lego kid, you know how it is.
How many times have I referenced Legos on this podcast? At least
we are
2 that I can
by
think
Lego.
of.
I think like whenever we're in either of each other's house, we're just
we are surrounded. Yeah, it's true.
And it's a good feeling.
It is. And
really is.
And what I like even better is that we have, for the most part, different Lego sets.
Yeah.
So it's almost like
because to talk about it like wine, we have different tastes, you know?
Yeah, it is. And I feel like, honestly, if we got like our collections together,
oh god,
it would be, because you have like a town hall or something.
Yeah, so I have a lot of the city stuff.
Right.
And I have a lot of like science fiction-y stuff.
And my thing was always like, I've got all these superhero
you've got
sets,
the Avengers.
but I have no like citizens for them to protect.
You don't have a city to destroy.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, what are they doing here then? I don't know. They're just standing here.
Well, I'll have you know, my city is perfectly content without y'all.
All right, well, I'm just saying, I have a Thanos, and I have some of his minions, and I can send them into your city.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, if I wanted to.
So, table. And then, I still do graphic design work occasionally. Not really taking commissions at the moment, but, I mess around with it.
Yeah. How long? I've always wanted to ask you this. So, like, you've done book covers for me.
Yes.
And I think those are, I could be wrong, but just from how much detail is often put into them, it feels like they're bigger scale projects than other stuff you might post on your Instagram. Or is it about the same?
No, the book covers are definitely like the largest things that I work on in terms of graphic design.
So like compared to a regular thing that you would do and a book cover, like how long does either one of those actually take to get done?
So if you look at some of my earlier stuff when I was really learning how Illustrator works, the software that I use, a lot of it was almost more like exercises. It's just like short little things. I learn a new technique, I implement it, crank it out, new image.
Sure, yeah.
Whereas, so it was more about the technique more than anything. It was just kind of, when I learned the technique, I was more or less done. But with the book covers, that's a very drawn out process, because it isn't just about technique. It's also about composition, it's about color, it's about creating a scene for most of these.
Yeah, that's true.
So a lot of it, I do a lot more reference finding. So like for the latest one with the gas station, I sat on Google Maps for a few hours just looking at gas stations in McKinney and the surrounding suburbs just to pull out reference material.
Wow.
So like that gas station, it most
I don't pay you enough for those, is what I'm hearing.
Well, anyways. But so like that gas station, it's kind of a combo of the Shell gas station by the highway, and the one that's on the corner of 380 near where I live. So it's a bit of an amalgam, but
which is, I feel like I got that kind of when I looked there.
Yeah, ideally it was supposed to be a suburban gas station.
Yeah.
And then after you do the reference finding, then you start to just implement the technique. And so whereas the other stuff is about learning a technique and you're done, this one's about kind of churning that technique and forcing it into place where you want it to go and making it behave more or less. And for really complex illustrations, Illustrator is not the choice.
Really?
It's just so technical and precise that if you want anything done at a detailed scale, you have to do everything by hand. So yeah, it takes a long time.
So like months or
I mean,
half a year.
We'd say a month, but that's just me chipping away at it throughout the month. So not like a month of dedicated effort, probably closer to like a week at most. But still a significant time comparison.
That's the curse of being a college student or even a high school student.
It's hard to spread that out.
It's like I always say, like, I could have written every story that's ever been in my head at this point.
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
didn't have homework on top of more homework on
Yep.
top of my job.
And like, if anybody, I doubt anybody does, but if anybody pays attention to my feed, you'll know that when the school season starts, the posts just stop.
They slow way down.
It's not even they slow down; they just stop.
They just stop. Yeah.
Unless I like happen to find something I hadn't posted before, in which case. But
and that always annoys me too. And that just especially I think became noticeable when over the last summer I started making the videos. Was I think right at the point where we were really into the groove of it, the EvCo Productions team, that was when we had to stop.
Yeah, because school started and we had to go our way.
And I'm sure it's going to be the same way this winter.
Probably,
we have a 3.5 weeks left or something like that. I think.
Yeah.
Or at least I do. I
think we have a little bit more just because we're starting later.
Okay, so maybe 4 weeks, but
hopefully.
Like after that, it's gonna stop again. So I think we're gonna probably be right back in the groove.
Although I think, fortunately though, like it might be a case of like learning to ride a bike. When you first get into that groove, it's easy enough to get back into it.
No, I'm sure. Like I would say already. We've jumped right back into
it. Our latest hit, Finger Guns.
Go watch Finger Guns if you haven't.
Probably honestly one of my favorites to film.
Honestly, and isn't that the thing is like right now that one has a lot less views compared to some of the great unaliving experiment, the one we just did.
Yeah.
And I think which this doesn't bother me, but I think it's always going to be the case that the ones we come up with off the top of our heads, because Finger Guns obviously was just something we made up, whereas the experiment one was scripted. I think the ones we make up off the top of our heads are always going to be more fun for us to do. But they're so... Just because when you get the boys together, our senses of humor are so whacked.
It warps.
That, like, I don't know if anybody else is going to find them funny, but...
And, like, have you... I don't know if I should name drop this yet, but have you at all touched the Book of Tings? I won't go into detail, but more or less it's just a chronicle of just, like...
Well,
literal years.
We should explain. So, Jared and I have referenced several times before, like the boys, which is myself and him, Archer, who's here right now, and then there's Wong and Polish, and occasionally Nick. And these are all the people that we used to eat lunch together with in high school. Club. And we call ourselves a lunch table club, which might sound a little similar to the lunch club, which is like the YouTuber Call Me Carson's thing. But we
were there first.
Exactly. And the Book of Tangs, which is, as Archer was saying, like a chronicle of every joke, meme, everything that's ever come together with us, is a document that is dated old enough to where, like, if we were in court, we could prove that we were the lunch table club before anybody was the lunch club.
And this thing is, I mean, it is years worth of humor, and it is quite the volume.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 30 pages worth of garbage jokes.
To be fair, about 6 pages of that is yeet.
Yeah, okay, anyways. I'm not saying, again, these are not great jokes. But anyways.
But what's a great joke, Archer? I mean, comedy's subjective. Right?
Anyways. Where were we going with that?
I don't know. It was you were the one who brought up the book.
Okay, that's problematic then. What were we talking about before that then?
I don't,
because I don't remember the lead-in now.
We were talking about the videos.
Well, I guess I was just more or less saying like the Book of Tings is a reflection of our humor.
Well,
so it's like a lot of the stuff that we do has loose connection to the Book of Tings, which is again multiple years of in jokes.
Yes.
Where like if you weren't there, like it sounds corny, but if you weren't there, it's not funny.
Well, no, yeah, and that's completely true.
I mean, like even in retrospect, I don't know if it's funny, but
I don't know. I think a lot of it in retrospect, you look back at some of the quotes and stuff that we've said, and it's like it may not be funny now because obviously it's funny when you're high on the moment, so to speak. But it's still like I'm still fond of the memory, and like, so it's fun to look back on.
It was still worthy of being cataloged. Even if I don't find it funny now.
Yeah. Now, does that mean that I don't dread the fact that one day all the club is going to be dead and it's going to be inherited by some relative of one of ours, and they're going to think we were all insane?
So here's what I think the parallel might be. So like literally last night, one of my uncles found the autobiography of my grandmother.
Really?
So I've been meaning to read through it. I probably will now that finals are over. But that was something that she wrote, pass it down, and now we're just rediscovering it. And I think this terrible book is going to be our record of our life.
Yeah. Well, I've got, I think it was a great grandfather wrote, I don't know if it was autobiographical or if it was a fiction book or something, because I haven't read it. But I remember my grandparents, I think, told me one time that he had written something or other. And the reason that stood out to me was because, as far as I know, that's the only other person in my family who has done anything writing-wise. Yeah. So I feel like I should read through that at some point if I can get a hold of it. But I've kind of... I don't know if this is appropriate because, no one can say, like, how our lives are going to end and how long, future generations will carry on. But I do kind of treat some of my writing as if, someone down the line is going to get a hold of it one day, because for all I know, they will.
And I think, now it's easier than ever.
Yeah.
Just because everything is chronicled online. So, I think provided something terrible doesn't happen to society as a whole.
Right. Or specifically to this laptop, because
that too,
and the flash drive. I have everything saved on a flash drive and on Google Drive.
Okay.
And obviously on the laptop itself.
I need to get better about saving data, if I'm honest.
Dude, I freak out about it. I'm super nervous about losing all my work.
I need to back stuff up because I think I have a couple of hard drives at home. I'll probably just upload everything to those.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, while we're on the Book of Tings, have you mentioned any of the bands that we've implemented before?
No. Jared and I have referenced like events.
Okay.
In terms of the lunch
but not
table
necessarily
club,
how the table functions.
We have not referenced how the table functions.
So there's
lore.
one great tradition that I think our lunch club has successfully implemented, and that's bands. And these are more or less like, we're going a little bit too far of a joke, or just something, we're sick of something, and then we as a table agree to ban it for 1 to 2 years. And for that time, we can't reference it at all. And
it works because I don't remember anything that we banned.
It works terribly effectively.
Terribly well.
Because I think I only definitively remember the first ban and the 2-year Dairy Queen ban between us.
Which is up now, by the way.
And so like when you don't talk about a thing for 1 to 2 years, everybody forgets that thing.
Yeah.
So
well, I honestly, if I remember correctly, that's the whole reason we started the book to begin with, was because we wanted to catalog everything.
Although, but like if it's banned, we've definitely forgotten it.
Well, yeah, I mean that was the problem. Is we started the book long after we implemented most of the bans, so we still don't remember.
And well, it was annoying too because in the book we wanted a section where we just kind of chart out, these are the things that we banned, and that section is now mostly empty because we don't remember.
Because we don't,
But so I guess 2 years ago. Me and Evan, we went to Dairy Queen after our usual antiquing. And, I mean, it tasted fine.
It did. I didn't think anything was wrong with it in the moment.
After the fact, sometimes you just kind of feel bad after eating because you're full or something. No, this was different. And we weren't necessarily sick either.
No, like, I didn't particularly have any, like, bowel troubles.
Yeah, like...
I didn't throw up.
Yeah, it wasn't food poisoning or anything, but we just...
But something was wrong in the state of Denmark.
Oh, yeah. So we banned that.
Yeah.
But, so this ban was unique, though, because it wasn't a ban from referencing it. It was strictly a ban from going there.
Like, we were literally boycotting Dairy Queen.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
But now that's up, I think it's high time that we go to Dairy Queen again.
I guess so, yeah.
And maybe this is like the Aggie in me, but if we go again, now it's tradition. Every 2 years.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing with most of what we do. I feel like we just immediately call anything a tradition.
I mean, if it's chronicled in any way, it's tradition now.
Yeah. And God, it makes me again want to talk about the New Year's Eve walk, but which is something Jared and I have referenced again, but I don't know how much we want to talk about.
Basically, stay tuned.
Yeah. Because we are really going to try our hardest to this New Year's have some kind of podcast
like a
with
more or
all the
less
boys.
a Christmas New Year's special.
Yeah.
That's going to be rough.
Well, if we do it after the actual
Yes,
event
yes.
itself, it's gonna be.
Which I think that's
Yeah.
the only way to do it.
I hope so, man. And the key is I don't know why, but like Jared was really hung up when we started this podcast on doing it over a Discord call,
Yes. Yeah.
so he could record it and edit it that way. And this is the second podcast I've done with like 2 or more people sitting
just
talking to
right
the same
together.
microphone,
Yeah.
which he said was going to mess up the audio, but at least according to last episode,
So
it
far,
didn't.
so good. Yeah.
So
I mean,
hopefully we get everyone to
Yeah.
actually crowd around the same microphone.
which I think the family room that I have, there's enough space and chairs.
Yeah, for sure.
We should be fine.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll just have to backpack the equipment over.
Yeah,
But,
which isn't to rip on Jer or his approach to editing, but also kind of is because, you know what? What can I say, Jer?
For the record, Jer, I love you. This is Evan saying these things, not me. I support you.
I'm just saying. One time, Craig, the recording bot we used, was not online, and we had to use a different one.
Yep.
And it made the audio glitch out
Yeah.
like every 30 seconds, and the audio didn't glitch out at all last episode the way he made it sound like it would.
So I think it might just be a matter of quality.
Maybe
Like,
so.
because I think this is kind of something that you mentioned on like the last podcast where you had everybody here.
Yeah.
It's just like, if somebody's a little bit further from the mic, you can hear that, or
Yeah.
you hear them less. So like, I think overall it is easier to control like the volume of stuff. Mm-hmm. But again, I think that, if I may, I've noticed something about you.
Okay. Do
and
tell.
that it's that you like things non-complicated.
Very much. Yeah.
And so like, I think regardless of the cons and pros, I think just because, regardless of the quality,
Yeah.
I think this may just be a better approach just because, it's simpler.
Well,
And,
you.
it feeds into what you were talking about earlier. It's easier to do spontaneously. There's
Yeah.
no setup involved.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because, I just kind of said, hey, let's do it today. Mm-hmm. And here I am.
Yeah.
I didn't
here
have
you
to
are.
get a mic or anything.
And though at the same time is, I don't know if anybody else will catch that or not, but you could just say that I'm lazy rather than liking things simple.
But,
I like to think that it's actually I like things simple,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
even I hesitate to say sometimes like how much of it is actually me just
but
being
you
lazy.
also know I'm too nice to say that.
Well, which I appreciate because Lord knows nobody else is.
Mm-hmm.
They'll call me out on it.
There's a reason I was the mediator for a while.
That's absolutely true.
Ooh, hold on. Let me keep talking.
Okay.
Which I know is really
I'm
forced
talking.
and
I'm forcing
Okay,
this
so-
as Archer's on his phone.
Now then.
Okay.
Well, I was looking at my questions.
I know you are. I
Okay.
was just like,
So this is kind of 2 questions.
okay, hit me with them.
First off, what's your, physically, what is your favorite thing that you have right now? Just like your favorite possession.
That's an interesting question.
Because you have a lot of possessions.
I do have
and
a
they're
lot of
all
possessions.
really unique and interesting, and I like them.
Okay.
So I'm curious to
and
see
pretty much
what
they're
kind of
all in this
crowns-
room.
yeah.
Like it's,
Like,
we
yeah,
don't have a camera,
yeah,
but if you were to look
yeah.
around the room we're in right now, you'd see most of the possessions.
It's
I
all
have.
within the field of view.
Yeah.
Personally, I really like your katanas. I'm just going to say that.
I would maybe pick those if they weren't like just crap. Like like I really want a katana that's actually usable, but I haven't paid the money to get it.
Yeah,
like
'cause
those
ain't
are
cheap.
those
Are they?
are very old, and I
Yeah.
think they were maybe not made for use
Probably
to begin with.
not, no.
They're
Probably
not
just
sharp.
decorative.
If somebody were in this room and I needed to stab him, I would not use that.
Well, but it'd be a good blunt weapon, yeah.
Yeah, I would be. Well, but then at that point, I just get the baseball bat in the corner there.
Oh. I didn't
Because,
know there was
like,
a baseball-
I don't want to just be banging away at somebody with a blunt katana. I feel like that's super lame.
Well, maybe it's like it's a thing with like cutting knives where it's the blunt cutting knives are more dangerous than the sharp ones. I doubt that's true
didn't-
for swords.
I didn't know that was
well,
the case.
So what it is with a good sharp kitchen knife, it's just anything is like slicing through butter.
Right.
It's just simple, no force exerted. You just. Whereas with a kind of dull knife, you have to start exerting pressure, and you kind of have to tear through stuff, and then that it's just more movement all across the board, and that leads to more accidents. Anyways,
Well, I don't know.
no,
I mean, my thing is that, like, in my opinion,
yes,
like I realize that all my posters and my books and my Legos and my figures and whatnot are very scattered.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I have placed everything in a very particular spot.
Yeah.
And it all, in my mind, again, complements,
And I mean,
everything else.
Because
So,
I do agree, it's a bit of like a menagerie.
yeah.
But at the same time, it is also very cohesive.
Yeah.
Like there is certainly an aesthetic in this room.
Right. And I think it was Charlie said last episode when he was on that he thought it was a little aggressive and that it would especially be more aggressive if I got more posters, which I'm planning on doing. But like, again, like I said that time, like it just represents my mind, I feel like. Like I'm fond of this room and the aesthetic it has because like it's a little jumbled.
Yeah.
But it's just so full of like pop culture and my life
so I
and
think,
my inspirations and
So I think like I'm very much the same way, albeit with just.
But your room is so
so that's the
spotless.
thing. Not according to my mom, who's now minimalist.
Well, okay.
But in the same sense that it's like a mental landscape.
Yeah.
Where it's like when you look at a thing, it reminds you of something that you're fond of.
Right.
It brings back memories. Like my room. There may like again. I don't. The only reason I don't have more stuff on my wall is because I like to get it framed. Because generally it's art prints usually.
Yeah.
But I like to frame it so right now my walls are barren. But I do have a lot of kind of antiques, clutter, stuff that I enjoy. And it's just because those things remind me of a very specific thing.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that baffled my parents for a little bit was we went to, was it Third Monday trade?
Oh, the trade days.
Yeah, trade days or whatever. And I found this... I mean, it looks like a lamp straight out of the 1940s that you'd see in like a municipal library. And my parents, I didn't explain at the time why I wanted, but I got it. And I had it on my desk for the longest time, and they just did not understand it. But the reason that I bought it was because at that time I was looking into 1940s municipal architecture and Art Deco architecture. And so I bought that because it reminded me of that.
Yeah.
And now it's there on my desk.
Yeah. I guess... It's a cop-out answer to say my laptop just for the fact that it has all my stuff on it. So if I were going based off of memory, honestly, it would be one of two things, and they're on the different corners. It would be either this picture, which Jeremy got me. Jeremy's one of my best friends. He knew that I had a crush on Gal Gadot. Have a crush on Gal Gadot, the Wonder Woman actress, and so he took a picture of her and Chris Pine on the set of the movie and had somebody edit my face over Chris Pine.
Which, for the record, that is a really good.
It's a really good. It was John, the Ukrainian friend.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who's married now, by the way. How crazy is that?
Well, that one doesn't surprise me.
Oh no.
Because he was the one who moved to New York, right?
Yeah, New Jersey, I think it was,
New Jersey,
actually.
Okay, but, still.
Anyway, shout out to John. Haven't seen you in years, but congratulations on the marriage.
It's been a long time since we've talked, but you were a cool dude. I miss you, man.
And then the other option would be this gnome here.
Yeah, is that George Lucas?
That is the best possible comparison I've ever heard.
Oh, okay.
That is not George Lucas. Oh my god.
Anyways,
if you follow my Instagram, you've seen this gnome before. I've posted a picture of it. The reason being, it has a very detailed backstory. So when I was probably in 9th grade, I want to say, Goochlag and I were at Dave & Buster's at the Stonebriar Mall.
Oh.
And he won one of those. And then I was like, well, heck, dude, I got to have one too. So we went back like a week later and played, I think it was a ton of, what do you call it, skee ball? Because that was the one that gives you the most
tickets. That's a pretty
tickets.
safe bet, yeah.
Yeah, so we played like hours worth of skee ball to win me a gnome. And then, when I was writing my first short story, A Night on the Town, I referenced very explicitly that moment in my life where the two main characters, who are clearly me and Josh, go to an arcade and win a gnome exactly like that. So I feel like, in both the creative and true life aspects of myself, it just all ties into that gnome.
No, I like him.
Yeah, his name's Dominic.
Dominic?
I don't know why. That was the first name I came up with.
It's based on somebody.
I
there's too many references on him. Like,
Well,
like the Spock hand, he's got the D&D
yeah,
dice,
but
he's got the sword, the hood, the
yeah,
nuclear symbol.
I was
like,
gonna say he's got the atom there
yeah,
on the on
like
his
I want to
shirt.
say like maybe it's George R. R. Martin. I could see that being the case.
I really don't think he was meant to be anybody in particular.
Maybe just generic
I'm
nerd.
dropping stuff. Whatever, I'll pick it up later. I think it's just supposed to be generic.
That's fair.
Your comparisons to both George Lucas and George R. R. Martin are entirely possible, though.
And for like the 3 people out there, he kind of looks like Zizek. Anyways,
I'm certain no one following me knows what that is, because I don't know what that is.
He's, I don't know. Anyways.
Anyway, what was the other half of your question? Didn't you say there was 2 parts to that?
Oh, okay. Anyways.
Okay.
So it was more or less just outside of things that you own, what's just your favorite kind of thing, like idea right now? Like, what's something that you just kind of enjoy?
Like, I just like the idea of it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be physical. Could be physical. Could be something you've done. Could be something you haven't done. Could just be anything. Just something you appreciate right now.
Well, I guess, I mean, this one, I don't know that this will be my main answer, but like, it's obvious that I appreciate a small town aesthetic, and that's why you and I go to downtown McKinney so often and go antiquing and whatnot. But I think within the walls of downtown McKinney, and then beyond, when you go to other ones like it, is hotels. Like I was just talking to you about the other day. And it's not solely because of The Shining. People will think it is.
However,
The Shining really helped my adoration of hotels.
But
to be fair, so did The Hangover. Like a lot of movies have helped.
But just in general, though.
But in general, though, I've always liked hotels. I've liked them since I was a little kid and running from one end of the hall down to the other. But I just love the aesthetic of hotels, whether that's like a modern hotel or whether that's an old-fashioned, possibly haunted hotel.
See,
I like hotels.
Have you watched Grand Budapest Hotel?
I haven't, because I'm not. It's on my list.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm not the hugest Wes Anderson fan.
Okay, but I will say,
so I haven't watched it yet.
If you like hotels, this is a movie about a hotel.
Right, obviously, yeah.
And like, I think I am quite fond of hotels myself.
Yeah.
And for me, what that movie highlighted was kind of the machine behind the hotel. It's kind of all of the logistics, all the back end, all the customer care, and how when it's done well, it's fantastic.
Right. But does it highlight that stuff as well as Adam Sandler's Bedtime Stories does? Which is totally a joke, by the way.
No, I know. It's just one that I'm not tuned into. I referenced Zach. You referenced Adam Sandler.
There you go. He was a hotel manager in that one.
Okay, fair.
No, but yeah, I do love hotels, and that sounds like a movie that, as far as that goes, I do need to watch. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know that I would want to be involved myself. In managing a hotel.
I mean,
But if I just lived in a hotel,
that'd be cool.
I honestly wouldn't have a problem with that.
You know, a kind of smaller branch off that I've been getting into more recently is motels.
Okay.
But specifically in their heyday. Right. Not like the cockroach Motel 6 of now, but just like when American car culture was just American culture at large.
Yes.
And
I've got some of those postcards that you and I picked out. Yeah. Some of them have great looking motels on them. So
it's something about kind of that mid-century aesthetic, a little bit of the glamour, a little bit of the streamline. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really enjoy
for
that.
sure.
But
it's cool stuff.
We need to. What was it? Someday we just need to get a few rooms at that hotel.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that in not just for the one hotel in downtown McKinney, but just hotels all over the place. I feel like that would be an ideal hobby of mine, is to just like go around to different hotels whenever I can afford it and spend a couple nights in them and just experience all these different hotels, man. I know
you don't like critiquing, I'd say you'd be great as like a hotel reviewer.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's not that I flat out don't like critiquing.
Yeah.
I don't like having to critique things. I guess I don't know that I've self-analyzed enough to know this is exactly how it is, but I don't like critiquing things that are like particularly important to me, I guess you'd say.
That's fair.
I have tried, and this is honestly the this is like surface level critiquing.
Yes.
I have tried so many times to make a top 10 / top 25 / top 50, even top 250, just a list of my favorite movies.
Yep.
And I can't do it.
Yep.
Because every time I try, I feel like I'm leaving out so many ones so just that
really
alone,
is
like
a futile exercise.
It is.
Because like the more that you start making that list, the more you're like, oh, I forgot about that shit.
Exactly,
Oh my God,
exactly.
How can I forget that? Oh no, I have to bump it up. Oh my God.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
if I were to critique something like a hotel,
Yes.
that's sort of, in my mind, I've always approached that as a kind of game.
Yeah.
So back when I tried to write actual reviews on movies, it's always been about trying to say what I need to say in the most fancy way possible.
Most eloquent way.
In the most eloquent way possible. Like, you want to be kind of wordy. You don't want to
a
sound like
little
a
bit
jerk,
verbose.
but like...
I mean, well, because I think part of it too is like, I think maybe even more so for hotels, it's less about like critiquing the nitty gritty, more about what was your experience with it.
Yeah.
And how do you
It's kind of
convey
like
your
reviewing a
thoughts?
restaurant.
Yeah. Like,
So, I think I could probably do that.
That's fair.
Easier.
Yeah. Because it is a very different mode of critique.
Yeah. But I don't. It's true that in general, I've never had a fondness for critics or the act of critiquing. I feel like people get bogged down by it.
They do.
I feel like
Yeah.
you, like, as a movie fan, I will meet other self-proclaimed movie fans, and they will just, and you're gonna know who I'm talking about, but they will literally, when they talk to me about movies, they will say things word for word that I've read on Rotten Tomatoes or on Metacritic, and I'm like, yes, I read that too.
Nice
Glad to
opinion,
know you
friend.
share that
Yeah.
opinion, because you definitely didn't come up with it. At the same time, that's part of what, for me personally, I don't think I could critique, because I would be concerned that, whether subconsciously or not, I'm just writing down somebody else's ideas, and I don't feel like it's...
I feel like that's true for everything.
I'm sure it just happens, but...
I mean, like, it's the classic case of there are no new ideas.
It is, and I'm a big supporter of that, but mostly when it comes to actual creativity.
Yeah.
When it comes to something that's supposed to be, like,
You're supposed to have
honest,
an opinion.
Yeah, and supposedly unbiased. We all know it's not, but supposedly. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm lying to myself and to whoever would be reading that.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. Whereas if I'm, like, embracing the fact that, 100 people have written a story like this before, I'm just writing it because it's my version of it.
Yeah.
And
That's totally fair.
And I feel like I write things that are about other things, and I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
So.
And then one last thing related question,
Okay.
more specific. Bar the mask. What's the thing that you've been most disappointed that you missed out on while antiquing?
That's a
You
good
saw
question.
it, you loved it.
Yeah.
Next time you went, it was gone.
I don't know for sure if you were here for this. But which, by the way, I don't know if we made clear. Did we? I guess we did. Archer and I just go antiquing all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure people know that.
When we're both in town, pretty much every weekend.
I guess we're old ladies in that sense, but
No, we're old men, thank you. again, life goal, we're going to be the ones playing chess.
yeah, like we said
outside the
last
antique
podcast.
store.
Yeah. No, but there was this particular painting that was not actually in an antique shop.
Oh.
It was in the courthouse, because they sometimes show art in the courthouse.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if you were here for this or if it was somebody else that I was out with. Excuse me. But it was it reminded me of, like, Colorado, but I'm not sure it was of Colorado.
Okay.
But it was this particular painting of some kids by a stream with very particularly vibrant green and blue colors with the meadow and the mountains and the sky. And I'm not sure if that was for sale or how much it would have cost me if I had wanted to buy
if it's in
it.
a gallery.
Yeah, but I totally, if I could have gotten that, I rarely see, like, because you look around my room, there's not a lot that's framed.
Yeah.
So the aesthetic of a framed painting, I feel like doesn't really jive with what I have going on.
Kind of integrate well.
Yeah, but
But
regardless, if I'd had the money
yeah,
and the resources, I would have said, screw it, I want that painting in this
and then
room.
it would have been
Because
yeah.
rarely have I seen a painting, and I don't know, again, why it was particularly this one, but rarely have I seen one that has actually affected me to where, like, I stood there, I think, for like 10 minutes.
No, you know, I do remember
looking
this.
at it.
Yeah,
You remember it?
I remember that now.
And I was like, this is just like the perfect piece of art.
I think, like,
I don't know.
the rest of us were kind of like a bit
concerned.
Never looked at art like this before.
Yeah.
But okay, now I understand. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know why it was that one in particular that affected me.
I mean, you know, that's what art does.
It is what art does.
It calls when it does, I guess.
Yeah. if that sounds like a familiar painting to you, then and it was you who did it.
I mean, I bet honestly you probably could track it down. Just because you probably just talk to whoever hosted the gallery, find their list of contacts, find the artists, search their gallery. I mean,
it was so long ago that I don't remember what year or what time of year it was.
They keep everything on record. So
if
you dig through enough
records, with my luck, I'd find it and it would be like $1,000.
Well, yeah, but then at least
I have $1,000, but I don't want to.
But you don't want to blow it all on one painting.
Yeah. So
I think for me, the thing that I was saddest to miss out on was that very beautiful tea chest.
I thought you were going to say the frog. Or not the frog, the owl. The sassy owl.
The owl is a given.
Okay.
You know, it was just a hilarious owl porcelain thing.
I was going to say, was it porcelain or a statue?
It was porcelain, I think.
Okay.
But, no, specifically, the thing that I'm still kind of regretting was, it was just this giant chest full of tea. I believe it was
I remember
Chinese
where that
tea.
was at.
Yeah, me
specifically
too.
in the store. Yeah.
And like, when I say a tea chest, this was a full thing. Like, it was the size of the desk that we're at right now.
And that was like $80 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't that much. For that much tea and that good of a chest, not that much.
But remind me, I think you answered this the day of, but you couldn't still drink that tea, could you?
Well, so that's the question. I wouldn't know until I did. But, I
so
think,
possibly you would like experiment with that and just poison yourself.
Well, start with small doses, work your way up. But I mean, you know, tea leaves, they're dried herbs.
Yeah,
those things can last forever. And those bags specifically, like in hindsight, they were vacuum sealed. They were really well contained. There wouldn't have been any like. The only time that I should have been concerned if there was like any sign of humidity penetrating the casing,
right? But
probably not. So I would have been fine.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of beating myself up about that.
Well, we all have the one that got away.
Yeah.
But should we also shout out Butch Reeb just while we're talking about antiquing?
Do we dare share that with the greater
populace?
Do we
dare share it? I don't know.
Well, Butch Reeb, what do you think?
Well, Butch Reeb, I think that the world deserves to know about Butch Reeb.
Butch Reeb? That sounds like playing Butch Reeb.
Good Butch Reeb. Let's continue.
So,
this is already so scuffed.
Yeah, we're so sorry.
I'm already regretting this.
I mean, this is one of those things where it's a joke that at the time we found hilarious. We still do, but
I hope otherwise we wouldn't still be doing it years later.
If you aren't us, there's no reason for this to be funny.
Right.
There's literally no reason this should be funny. But more or less at the antique mall in the upstairs segment, kind of by the front, there's been,
so specific. Like
they gotta know.
Like if you've heard of this guy,
you should like to visit the Butch Reeb site,
you too can go to the same place.
It's the Antique Mall, not Barron's, the Antique Mall at downtown McKinney. And then you go upstairs, and it's close to the right side of the building up top. That's where it is.
This is how the identity thieves are going to figure out who we are. Because we're giving them these specific locations.
Butch Reeb and I.
Yeah.
No, but again, it's nothing. He's a fan repairs man. Like his little booth, it's just specialized in repairing old antique fans. I mean, they're lovely affairs, but you know, it's
not ceiling fans either. It's just
like the little, you know, like the old General Electric desk fan.
Yeah,
love them, but you know that's what it is. But we noticed he had little business cards.
Yeah.
So naturally, we took those and stole his identity.
Now Archer and I just call each other Butch Reeb sometimes.
Yeah. Which, you know, it's just like it's a bit without an audience.
Yeah.
You know?
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. On the business card itself, there are quotations around Butch. So we know Butch is his nickname. It's not his actual first name.
So there could, maybe in theory, be multiple legitimate Butches.
Yeah.
But, what?
I don't know. That's just such a weird phrase.
Anyways, so unfortunately, I I mean, it has to be somewhere, but I think I've lost my identity card.
I still have mine in my wallet.
So I've been meaning to like ask you to photocopy yours.
Okay.
But,
it's a little rough around the edges, but
works.
I'm sure it would still.
But ever since then, he hasn't laid out cards. So
Yeah.
So those are like once in a lifetime deals right there.
And we've never seen hide nor hair of this guy.
Nope.
Oddly, few of his fans have ever been bought, but he's had. He's had very real longevity
because
with his
you notice
booth.
that with these booths, because again, it's antique mall, people rent out the spaces in the mall to sell their wares. Most of the time, if a booth doesn't have a high turnover of product, they're gone. Butch Reeb, I don't know when he's last sold a fan,
but he's been there forever, man.
So well, okay, to bring up another downtown icon,
please,
the bookstore.
Oh God, my heart.
So I think we'll get into the bookstore in a moment. But like, Butch Reeb is the one who survived.
Do you think?
Yeah, well, because he's still there and the bookstore is not.
That's true, yeah.
So, but anyways.
There was like a war between Butch Reeb and the old guy who ran the bookstore.
Just a quiet shadow war.
Yeah.
And then nobody notices the bookstore's gone.
Anyway, if anyone knows a man by the name of Reeb.
Last name Reeb.
Not
Reed.
Not
Reed.
Not Reed. Reeb.
Who goes
hit
by
him up.
Butch. I guess.
Like,
hit him up. Let him know we're fans.
Yeah, because
outside of this current year, we'd like to meet him.
Although at this point, though, do we? Because like we've said his name for so long that I feel like whatever he looks like, it's just it's not going to live up to my expectations.
But at the same time.
But still, like life is short. You want to know. Yeah, I guess.
So, the bookstore.
Yeah, let's jump into the bookstore now.
Oh, the bookstore.
God, rest in peace.
So, I mean, yeah, it was literally that. It was a bookstore right behind Barron's Antiques, if you want to know where it was. And, yeah, no, it was a bookstore. I forget the name of the guy who ran it, but he was a friendly old guy. Always had his dog with him.
Yeah, little black Scottish Terrier.
Yeah.
It was a very... The bookstore itself probably could have fit in at the antique mall if it was like part of it. Like it's the same aesthetic basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I always remember the nice little metal winding staircase that's out on the front.
Yep. Here's how our days usually went when we went downtown, right?
This was like we still go downtown. This is like back in the day, like early high school.
These were our heyday.
Yeah.
I hope not, but anyway.
I hope not either.
But so we'd all park by the library because that's where the parking was. We'd meet at the library, and then we'd walk into town. And as you walk into downtown, you pass the bookstore. So we'd just chill in the bookstore for a bit.
The bookstore was always the first stop. Yeah. That's true.
And he always had a good selection of books. We'd peruse a little bit. I don't think we ever really bought anything until the end.
No, but we did. This is almost a little too. This is almost a little too explicit for what I like this podcast to be. But we definitely would dig around in the back room where there was a bunch of $2 romantic novels.
A housewife penny novel,
right?
More or less.
Quite some interesting literature.
Because in hindsight, reading those things aloud. They're so dumb and hilarious.
Yeah, they are really funny.
I mean, it's just like, it's one thing to see the words on the page, but when you think about somebody had to think those out, and then when you say it aloud, it's just, anyways.
It's something else, dude.
But, yeah, no, so...
But that's an interesting piece of EvCo trivia, though, is the bookstore was the original home of the painting, which has been the star of several of our videos.
So the bookstore, the guy, he just said, I've had a good run with it. I'm just going to retire this for now.
Right.
It's a lot to keep track of. I don't care for it too much right now. I'm going to close it. Don't know what happened to all the books, but
I don't either.
But he more or less had like a consignment sale. Yeah. Where everything in that building was for sale.
Even the shelves, I think.
Yeah, all the furniture, and then of course all the books.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we always did when we went to his bookstore was that we just stared at this painting. Because it's called Proverbidiums, and it's like every dumb saying that you've ever heard in your life, like it's raining cats or dogs. That was physically illustrated on this painting, and it was just chock full of them. So,
and it is disturbing.
It is. It's kind of unsettling to see these sayings, or just there,
just personified in that way.
But it's good content to pass time with, so we'd sit there and look at it for a while. And when the consignment sale happened, lo and behold, it was there for, I want to say $40 or $20.
I was gonna say it was 20. I don't think it was 20. As much as 40.
Well, because I know technically you have half ownership of it.
Did we split the
Yeah,
price
we
of
did.
it?
Yeah.
Then maybe it was 40.
Okay, that's what. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because if it was just 20, one of us would have bought it all on our own. Yeah.
So yeah, it was $40. We picked it up, and it's lived in my house ever since. Notice that I say lived. Anyways,
Because it is an entity.
it really is because, well,
I mean, it's probably our belief that gives it power, but we won't go down that road.
more or less, it holds a very special place in the EvCo Productions memory.
Yeah, you guys,
Living memory.
people have seen this video of Jer getting haunted by the painting.
Yeah.
Particularly by the little face that lives in the shadow.
Because again, it is all kind of unsettling to look at.
But particularly that. Yeah.
Because so here's what it was though, is that every time that we went to the antiques or to the bookstore, we looked it over for probably a few hours in total.
Yeah, when you sum it all up.
We never noticed that face until we brought it back to my house.
Yeah.
So it's like it just kind of manifested itself,
Yeah, it was not always there.
No. So, yeah, it has certain elements about it. But
it's one day going to probably turn into an exorcism
You know
movie.
what was terrible? So I brought it with me to the apartment, right?
Okay.
And I had it on the wall where our couch was.
Oh, God, I don't know if I want to hear this.
Well, I mean, it's nothing bad, but I left the apartment for like 5 minutes to go get some mail or something. And when I came back, it was down.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't know where Paul
gives me
was,
shivers.
but he wasn't there either. So,
God.
I mean, it was probably just a case of like I hung it up real poorly with like those command
Or
strips
maybe it
something.
wasn't, though.
Or maybe. But
He's trying to break free, Archer.
Well, we've known that for a while.
If the glass ever breaks on that painting, run. Not that running will save us,
but it's worth the shot, I guess.
I guess. God, yeah.
So that's the painting.
That's the painting.
That you will no doubt see referenced even more in future videos.
I was going to say, I feel like once Jer's back from the military, if we can make a video with him before he leaves again, I think it's time to like obviously it won't be permanent because it's a horror series, so it'll always come back, but I feel like it's time to for the first time actually end the reign of the painting, quote unquote.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Just kind of like for this season.
Just for now. We'll kill it and then we'll have some really bad CGI fire or something.
Wow.
And then in a few months we'll make another video where it returns or something.
Back.
Yeah. I think it's
just like the one annoying villain in any serial series that just doesn't go away.
It's Jason Voorhees, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Except it's a painting, and
it's our Jason Voorhees, okay?
Yeah. Well, I had high plans at one point to make a video where it was actually killing people.
Yeah.
Where it was launching itself from its post on the wall.
I remember that.
To smash on someone's head or something. So I don't know. It'd be difficult to pull off given our record of extremely low budget, extremely simple for lack of not using lazy, extremely simple creative endeavors.
I have had to push and nudge you to pick up the editing a little bit here and there.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I could, I'm sure, learn to do what's necessary to make not quality, I suppose, but quality compared to what we are doing now.
Yeah, just basic editing things.
Yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it yet, and I also haven't felt like any of our videos so far have really warranted it exactly. And so as I've been brainstorming new ideas, still realizing, like I said earlier, that I think that everything we come up with on the spot is always going to be better.
To us, at least.
But as I've been brainstorming ideas for future videos, I'm realizing more and more we're going to need to step up our game as far as we're going to need more actors. We're going to need probably a better camera than an iPhone.
Yep.
We're going to need real editing.
Pixel 3a.
We're going to need an EvCo logo and some credits.
Which I'm working
to
on.
roll.
I'm working on.
That's true. You are working on an EvCo logo now. There will be more to come with that as well.
Possibly.
Arch and I were talking about some great ideas. I will just go ahead and say them now.
Yeah.
We think that we would like to at some point, in theory, possibly, have some EvCo t-shirts and B, some EvCo posters of both videos that haven't been made, videos that have, and videos that will be made. Archer...
Basically, I have a new job.
Well, I mean, this was your idea. You don't have to do it.
No, I'm in, though.
But Archer's graphic design capabilities withstanding, I think that would be a lot of fun. And even if nobody else wants an EvCo t-shirt, which I don't know.
We'll have some.
I would like...
Don't know about the rest of you losers.
Yeah. I would like, if we actually attempt to give away some EvCo shirts.
Oh, that'd be great.
I would like our shirts, the productions team, to be different than the shirts that the viewers will have. But I don't know, one way or another, I just feel like
merch,
for lack of a better word, merch sounds like a great...
The time is now.
The time is nigh.
Capitalize on our EvCo clout.
You didn't have to put it that way. You really didn't.
No, but I did.
Okay, well. Anyway, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think also Jer is going to hear this and think, oh, we should have some FNS stuff too. And I feel like that's going to be going overboard. But
FNS is EvCo. It's within the realm.
I don't know if Jer would agree with that. It's technically his podcast.
That's fair.
He came to me saying, hey, do you want to do this? Which is ironic given that I'm the one running it while he's gone.
Now it's called, was it Father Time?
It's Father Time until such a time as the sun returns.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow, what
This is a lot of information, I realize, but it all makes sense to us.
In theory.
Kind of. But yeah, EvCo merch, man. That's...
Wouldn't y'all just love that?
Wouldn't you guys comment below?
Buy our merch.
Pay $10 for a cheap EvCo shirt.
Pay my tuition.
Oh my goodness.
That's... spread the word.
Yeah.
Retweet.
Retweet. Dude, we're going to be walking around the whole lunch table club is going to be wearing identical EvCo shirts.
Oh, no.
And people are going to see us out in public. They're going to be like, wait, are you guys advertising something? And we're going to pretend like it's something legit. And then we're going to tell them to go to my social media or YouTube. And they're going to find this cheap freaking channel. And it's just...
I'll make business cards as well.
Yeah, I know, dude. we need business cards.
Out, Oh, because I made really nice business cards in with Miss Tucker. Remember that?
No, I don't.
No, I made full laser engraved cards. It was
really?
It was when you had to make a business idea surrounding one of the Greek gods or whatever.
Huh.
So I did Dionysus Vineyards or whatever. Anyways,
I feel
so I have experience.
I don't know that we did that.
No?
I feel like the high school teachers from my grade to my youngest brother's grade, which includes yours, has gone through a lot of every year, this didn't work last time, so we're going to try this new project, which also doesn't tend to work, but let's not go down the high school route. Not this late in the podcast. But yeah, merch. God. On that note, it's been over an hour.
Yep.
We want to wrap it up.
I mean, if you want to.
I mean, we can keep talking. It's always been Jer who stopped it at around an hour. I was like, Jer, what if we just one day had a 4-hour podcast? Just no chill.
That nobody listens to.
Nobody... Because I do have work this evening.
Okay.
But I don't have to leave until 6. So, theoretically, we could talk for 40 more minutes.
It's probably good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now that I say it out loud, I agree. Well, this has been a lovely episode, Archer. Thank you very much for joining me.
I'm very glad to have been here.
Yes, glad to have you on finally.
Now close it.
No.